Sad, Rob, if I'm being honest with you. I knew he had illness issues over the last year or so, but when the news broke, when I got up this morning, a bit of emptiness, if I'm being honest, Rob, because he's obviously a manager who I played under as a young man, then obviously as I matured into an older footballer the second time round at Rangers. So, no, it was a sad day, and I just hold him in the utmost regard in terms of what type of manager he was and how he went about his business. So it's a sad, sad loss for Scottish football in a whole.
And he was a good guy. He was a fair guy, wasn't he? Even though he could be tough at times.
Yeah, he was, and that's what I really liked about him. Obviously, on a couple of occasions, when I did get into trouble, I just liked the fact he was straight and honest. He disciplined you, but he never held it against you, Rob. He just told you what he thought, whether that was if you were getting fined or suspended, which happened to myself. Once that was over, it was a case of just getting on with it and trying to get back into the team, and that's what I liked about him. Just very straight, went about his business in the right manner, and as I said, when Walter spoke to you, you sat up and you listened, and there was no doubt about that.
He'd real presence, didn't he?
He did. That was one of the things, as I said, when they held team meetings, whether it was a big European game or whether it was an Old Firm game or whatever, when Walter took control of a team meeting, you tuned in. There was no doubt about that. And the way he spoke with authority. And again, the respect, not just to myself, but I think if you ask any Rangers player that played under him, they would totally agree with what I'm saying there.
He had a steely stare, didn't he? I was on the end of it a few times if I asked the wrong question, and I guess you were on the wrong end of it at times as well if you were in his bad books.
Yeah, I was on the receiving end of that steely stare, probably more than you, Rob, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When you got yourself into a bit of trouble, he gave you that stare. But as I said, I thought he was very fair. He would tell you what he thought. He would discipline you. And as I said, I thought how he dealt with situations like that was the best way. He was fair and honest, and as I said, he never held it against you. As I said, a few times I had get myself into a bit of bother, and he dealt with it in the right manner. He dealt with it quickly, and then you had to obviously take the consequences, whether that was obviously getting fined or left out the team. But once you come back into the fray, he just let you go on with it, and it was a case of you going to prove that you could get back into the team. So that's why, not just as a manager and as a coach, I just liked his man management as well. I thought that was one of his biggest attributes.
And I guess he's had a big influence on you, the manager.
Yeah, look, a lot of people probably say they want to be their own guy when they get into the mad world of management. But I tend to look back on the managers that I played under and always take bits out of how they approach the game. And certainly the biggest word that probably sticks out for me with Walter Smith is standard. You always set high standards. You had to train the way that you wanted to play. And that's something that I've tried to take into my management career, Rob. So that was probably the word that he kept going on about. There was always standards at Rangers. You had to make sure you kept to those standards. And if you dipped below them, he would let you know that.
And I guess he's always been somebody that's behaved with great dignity as well. I mean, he must have been a great example to you in that regard.
Yeah, look, I think you just see the way that certainly the football family up in Scotland have reacted. Today when I've been out and about, even Celtic fans stopped me and speaking about Walter Smith. That was how much respect he had in the game up here, and that was a big part of Walter Smith. Just the way that he came across, as I said, he was respected with everybody. So, as I say, Rob, a sad day. I'll be honest with you. When I got the news, as I said away at the start, there's an empty field this morning. But I tend to look back in the happy days, and he was like a massive part at the start of my career to try and push me on to become a regular Rangers player. So, look, sad day, but I'm sure over the coming days and weeks and months, people will show their appreciation of Walter Smith.
And you'll be feeling for those closest to him, who'll miss him the most.
Yeah, you get to know the family, his wife, and you get to know the boys as well. And I'm sure it's a tough time for them. And obviously, I send my condolences to the family. But I'm sure they'll get the support, and they'll see what people thought of Walter. And there's that many people who respected him. But it'll be a tough time for them. But look, he was not just a great man. He was a great manager, Rob. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing under him.
And I think the bigger the presence, the bigger the loss, eh?
Yep, a massive loss. Just see what he's done for the game up here. Obviously, the team that he built in the 90s, the amount of trophies they won, and then obviously he left to go down to England, then come back up, and he was a Scotland manager, and then went back and had a second stint at the Rangers job, and I was lucky enough part of that squad who had that fantastic run in the UEFA Cup. We just fell at the final hurdle. So some unbelievable memories, and I obviously learnt so much playing under him.
21 trophies in his two spells.
Phenomenal. In my lifetime, for me, he's been the best Rangers manager.